We are seeing an increase in problems. And there weren't these problems in the past 4 years. When it's happening on your watch, you are responsible. The buck stops with you.
Any president, Republican or Democrat, should get it by any means necessary. And it looks.
Let's hop in an episode of Fox News The Five, sadly without Jessica Tarlov, but her fill-in does do a pretty good job in discussing the chaos and the failure of the Trump administration. So as always, leave us a like if you can. It helps the channel out a lot and we really appreciate it. But let's otherwise get to the debate with some context and fact checks ready.
They say what happened in Newark. We are seeing an increase in problems. And there weren't these problems in the past 4 years. Since January, there have been 5 significant crashes. That hasn't been since 2009. So if everything happened in the last 4 years and nothing happened during the last 4 years, I'm not buying it. Additionally, because it comes down to 2 things: staffing and equipment. And specifically, they say in Newark, it comes down to 1 copper wire. Pete Buttigieg specifically wanted the 50 airports in the United States that need to have fiber, that need to have internet and not copper, and he wanted those changed.
And this is just bang on, right? These people want to say, oh, it's Biden's fault, or oh, it can't be because of Trump. It's a coincidence. Yet, like with these flight crashes, we're seeing numbers that we haven't seen in over a decade that aren't even kind of like what we saw under Biden. Meanwhile, we also have Trump, incoincidentally slashing the FAA, hiring the FAA funding, cutting the Safety Board of Advisors for Aviation, pausing Biden funding in projects like she mentioned with Pete Buttigieg, allowing Elon to oversee the FAA while simultaneously wanting to land contracts for his own business, which calls into questions like, code of ethics. Was he sabotaging, self-sabotage? I mean, it's clearly led to a lack of standard and safety, and it's causing American lives. But yeah, sure, let's just write it up to coincidence or Biden and the deep state.
People seem to think that, anybody who is in charge of the FAA can just, and even the president, can just, write a check and hand it off. No, they can't. We have something called Congress, and those funds have to be approved with and from legislation that has to go through there. So, for this administration right now to blame the former administration, I'm sorry. When it's happening on your watch, and if this were a Democrat, I'd say the same thing. When it's happening on your watch, you are responsible. The buck stops with you. Stop deflecting blame. Show some solutions, specific solutions, so that we can all be safe.
And to be clear in how asinine this is, in that MAGA clearly knows better, they accosted Democrats for mentioning COVID's effects on the economy, despite COVID's effects showing globally and us still handling it better. Yet now, over 100 days in, everything bad is somehow connectable to Joe Biden, but the lower gas prices and the good things are because of Trump. I don't even understand, seriously, not even for a second, how any person could hear that and go, yep, got it. Makes sense for sure. The idea that somehow Joe Biden's economy is showing through in all the negative aspects, despite when he left office, all indications being strong, but then all the strong ones showing now are because of tariffs and stuff. What are we doing?
And he's also talking about, he doesn't like Trump talking about expanding. The United States has always expanded, either by force or we buy things. We bought Alaska from the Russians. We bought half the country from the French. We beat the Mexicans, the Native Americans, the Spanish, the British. That's how we do things here. It's manifest destiny. And if we find out that we need Greenland as a matter of national survival, of course, any president, Republican or Democrat, should get it by any means necessary. And it looks...
I don't think this can be understated. This is genuinely an insane level of genocidal rhetoric to be allowed on national TV, but it does reflect the sad state that Trump and MAGA has put our country in, where a man can even cite what we did to the Native Americans, which was literal definitional genocide, and then to go on and say about another sovereign country that will take it by any means necessary, as if signaling that if we would do the same thing to them that we did to the Native Americans, literal genocide, by the way, that he would support it, or to any country really, if we deem fit, if the president deems fit. I mean, the fact that the largest news network in America has a host that not only feels comfortable saying this, but then can go on to keep his job is incredibly sickening.